What did your friend do that accidentally turned you on?
I was about to boop her nose, and she licked the tip of my finger. I ran to the bathroom, pretending to wash my hand, but really to hide a massive boner. He's a gym rat and decided to show me how ripped his back had become. He took off his shirt and flexed his muscles. Oh my god. I went to my friend's place to play Dungeons and Dragons. She made us all chicken nachos.
After the game, I went to wash the dishes to help clean up. I turned around, and she touched my chest, looked me directly in the eyes, and said, "I don't need help." Nothing overtly sexual, but she held my gaze and kept her hand on my chest a bit longer than expected.
Long story short, we're now married.
My friends were talking about trichotillomania, a disorder where people pull out their hair, and somehow made me the subject of their demonstrations, probably because my hair reaches down to my hips. One of them kept gently tugging at the ends, so another friend grabbed my hair near the roots and pulled so hard my head jerked back.
It was a very intense moment for me.
We were at a party, and I spilled some alcohol on my hands, making them sticky, which I hate.
She licked my hand clean. I was both embarrassed and aroused.
One night, I was dancing with a friend and messed up a move.
I thought he was going to dip me, but he spun me instead. My mistake was pretty obvious, so he did end up dipping me and said, "I saved you this time." He had no right to be that sexy in that moment. I was hanging out with my friends, and they started playing with a ball. I sat next to some pretty flowers I wanted to draw and wasn't paying attention to them.
Suddenly, the ball flew towards me, and one of my friends jumped and deflected it just inches away from me.
He stayed close for about 5 minutes to make sure I was okay, then patted my head.
This kind of interaction wasn't normal for us before, but it became normal after that.
She tilted her head in a way only girls can. She was listening to me talk about methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. We're medical students.
She listened with a half smile as I explained the disease. We were preparing for an exam, and she slightly tilted her head and kept her beautiful eyes on me. That look combined with the half smile twisted my stomach, and I started stuttering like an idiot.
This happened about a week ago. I never thought my fairly close friend, if not my best friend, would ever attract me. One evening we were at a bar, and I got cold. He took off his favorite jacket, draped it over my shoulders, and hugged me. I felt something I'll never forget. We were joking around when she suddenly turned, grabbed my neck, and lightly choked me. My life has never been the same since.
A button on her shirt came undone, revealing more cleavage than she had ever shown in my presence.
We ended up getting married.
We're about to celebrate our 10th anniversary. That little mishap turned into a happy accident. We stepped outside the party to get some fresh air, and I asked if my eyeliner was smudged.
She took my jaw in her hands and gently but firmly turned my face from side to side, then patted my cheek and said everything looked fine. I couldn't even thank her, just nodded my head, and we started talking about something else while I tried to regain my composure. I was in a similar situation.
A friend asked me to check if something had gotten in her eye.
I leaned in very close, saw something, and carefully removed it.
When I pulled away, she looked at me a bit flustered, but I didn't think much of it. We started dating about 5 months later, and I found out she fell for me at that very moment.
She called me, "Sir." I didn't even know that could be a turn on. Probably when my friend joked about me being so submissive, then grabbed my collar while trying to prove his point. I literally couldn't do anything. I just went limp, mouth open, like he had flipped a switch.
We lived in the same apartment, and she leaned back on the couch, and I saw her pussy peeking out from under her shorts.
I don't know how she didn't feel the air hitting her private parts. Maybe she did it on purpose to hint at something. But I was too young, and I freaked out when I saw her crotch.
Something similar happened to me.
We were swimming.
She was sitting on a small ledge, wearing shorts, and my eyes were level with her privates.
I'm 90% sure she did it on purpose because she looked me in the eye and saw that I could see everything, but she did nothing to cover herself. It didn't lead to anything, but that image stayed in my mind for a long time. She literally asked me to help her pick out outfits for the weekend and spent the whole morning modeling different clothes in front of me, asking me to choose something. She changed right in the same room. I'm a very tactile person, and he doesn't like touching anyone.
But he always stays close to me when we're outside and it's chilly. He sits next to me during work meetings, and he always puts his hand on the small of my back when I walk in front of him or beside him.
There's nothing overtly sexual about it, but the fact that he doesn't act this way with others. Oh my god.
Our whole group went to the club.
He was saying something, but I couldn't hear him. He leaned in and whispered in my ear.
This put 2 decades of purely platonic friendship at risk. I still didn't catch what he said. When I, 26, went to the bar with my friend Jack, 25, I met an acquaintance there.
He was hitting on me, suggesting we go home together, and was being too pushy. I rejected him, and this guy immediately started lashing out at my friend. He accused Jack of being the reason I wouldn't go home with him, calling him a buzzkill. My friend just stood his ground, arms crossed,
and in a very calm, firm voice, demanded he back off. The drunk acquaintance eventually left, but I got so turned on seeing Jack remain so calm and composed in such a tense situation, where most of my friends would usually blow up.
It was incredibly sexy. A sleepover with friends. She and I were the last ones awake. We lay under the blanket on the bed. She was wearing black panties.
We both sat silently on our phones.
She shifted her leg, and now it was slightly touching me.
All I could think was, don't get a boner, don't get a boner, don't get a boner.
Years later, she confessed that she had moved her leg on purpose. We've been together for about 10 years now. She showed me how the tattoo on the back of her thighs moved when she bent over. I was 19. She was in short shorts. It was enough to make me blush.
Every time I had to ride in a car on the lap of a close male friend, I had to gather every ounce of self-control to sit still.
She had a habit of biting me when I teased her or made fun of her. Once, we were playing something on my PS4.
It was a single-player game, so we agreed to take turns. At that moment, we both liked each other, but for numerous reasons, we didn't admit it.
We also liked hugging each other and agreed that friendly hugs were okay. Anyway, we were sitting and playing. She hugged me from behind. I made a joke, and she decided to bite me, but since she couldn't bite my finger, she bit my ear.
Until then, I had no idea that could be such a turn-on. I stayed after school one day, chatting with my English teacher who ran the drama club, and then, a friend of mine, whom I might have been in love with at the time, came over for a reason I've forgotten due to the many years that have passed and my poor memory.
She was playing Ursula in the upcoming musical, and the teacher had given her a bag of items she had bought for my friend to try on.
Among these items was a form-fitting purple corset. When she came back over to us, she had nothing on above the waist except for the corset. She was practically showing off the deepest cleavage. Additionally, it seemed that the corset came with tiny black thongs, which she proudly showed off to us. In short, this was the most exciting moment for me throughout my senior years of school. I had to resist all temptations not to show my embarrassment and not to show a bulge in my pants.
I should mention, though it's off topic, that I have a special love for corsets. She moaned slightly when I whispered, "Happy birthday," in her ear. We discussed it and she said that when she gets blown on her earlobe, she gets horny. I did it again for a laugh. We both got horny, kissed, and then a few more times after that.
Our relationship had gotten kind of weird.
She fed me with the same spoon that she ate with herself. I still don't understand what it was about her that day. Was she flirting with me or was she just trying to comfort me? It was at a birthday party I was late for because I had a fight with my dad. She asked why I was late. I told her about it. I was angry. She was already eating. I didn't get a plate or food, so she started feeding me.
Her chin was on my shoulder while she did this. Her face was so close to my cheek she could have kissed me.
I didn't react, just stared ahead and pretended that I was still thinking about the fight with my father.
But in reality, my brain was emitting sirens that screamed, "What the hell is she doing?"
A lot of people looked at us with bewilderment, apparently thinking we had started dating. We were drinking at a party and I was handed a shot glass. I said, "This one will knock me out for sure." She looked at me and softly said, "Don't worry, I'll take care of you." I immediately knocked back a shot glass. She gave me a ride to the airport.
I thanked her, kissed her on the cheek and turned around to get out of the car. As I was getting out, she said, "That's it?" I turned around, our eyes met, and suddenly my heart raced.
We hugged, but it was our first hug not as friends. I remember hugging her in the car, not wanting to let go. How I suddenly felt a rush of feelings I hadn't allowed myself to notice before.
I remember flying in. I was going to be visiting my aunt for a few weeks, and my aunt said I looked like I had my heart broken. I knew from that moment on I was in love with my best friend.
We've been together since the day I came home.
Recently celebrated our 18th anniversary. My friend and I were walking after work, deciding to take a stroll together.
We had sparks of interest in each other before, but nothing intimate.
He had a girlfriend, I had a boyfriend.
And there we were, walking down the avenue, chatting. Then our hands touched, then intertwined.
This excited me terribly, which I confessed.
In response, he said he felt the same.
We didn't let go of each other's hands.
We got married a month ago.
Thank you for watching. Have you had similar romantic or awkward situations with friends? Share your experiences in the comments, and don't forget to check out our other videos.
We strive to create interesting content for you.